5 and 5. 5 ways to be culturally relevant and responsive in the arts. Number 1. Create a cultural curriculum.
Often, educators begin planning for instruction by choosing a resource or text to engage students. Scripts, props, costumes, dance steps, pieces of music, or artworks are in fact texts that students read. Remember, art forms from around the world use a variety of symbol systems and languages. Dr. Sims Bishop says, "When texts are windows, mirrors, and sliding glass doors, they affirm our students' positive identities to code their belonging. Texts are never neutral. They are used to inform, entertain, persuade, and manipulate. What we include is just as significant as what we exclude." Alongside students, interrogate text selections in the arts from a variety of cultural and historical context to decode, critically think, and communicate as a community of learners to co-create a cultural curriculum.
Number 2. Emphasize students' use of the creative process.
Students enter into our arts learning environments with their identities and lived experiences. We need to create spaces where the gifts and knowledge they bring are valued. Using the creative process as a guide, teachers can design a series of lessons where students develop skills and competencies to apply to their learning to show how they have met the overall expectations. In the arts, we assess students' learning of skills and knowledge that happens as they apply the stages of the creative process. The big show or final project is only the tip of the creative process iceberg. While it may provide an opportunity to explore the role of audience or viewer, the other 7 stages of the creative process can nurture students' skills, personal identities, and perspectives. In all arts disciplines, students need direct instruction, guidance, and modeling of the skills and techniques. Learning cannot occur without mistakes. Students should have opportunities to practice, experiment, and get feedback. Shift final products and performances away from a factory model of recreation to student-centered creations that look, sound, and move uniquely, just like our students.
Number 3. Decenter the canon.
The canon is a traditional timeline of historically Eurocentric artists who are sometimes called old masters or great artists. This canon devalues the contributions of global creators by imposing an artificial hierarchy. Interrogating who's in and who's out on these lists requires an anti-oppressive, culturally relevant, and responsive stance in your arts classes. Teachers and students together must question these rules of greatness, considering issues of gender, race, class, religion, and geography, among others. Consider a change to how and what we teach. Kike Ojo-Thompson challenges us as educators to interrogate powerful, unexamined ideas in our subject areas. Together, all of us must prioritize our learning of the erased histories and contributions of Black and Indigenous artists. We need to flip the telescope around to widen our individual and collective worldview.
Number 4. Interrogate art making with the critical analysis process.
The critical analysis process is a journey of discovery. It invites students to develop critical thinking skills, attitudes, and mindsets so that they can develop an informed opinion. It requires openness to other points of view and to various means of expression and creation. While students are in many different points of the continuum of understanding histories and practices, each can bring their unique lived experiences to the process of meaning making. As our arts curriculum says, everyone views the world through different lenses, and our views of the world and our life experiences inform our understanding. Students need to be taught that the arts are not created in a vacuum, that they reflect the artist's personal, social, and historical context. When teaching the critical analysis process, scaffold the learning for students using modeled, guided, shared, and independent instruction to differentiate learning. Help students discover how to analyze, discuss, and interpret their own works and works of others as they move from an initial reaction to an informed opinion.
Number 5. Choose cultural appreciation over appropriation.
In Western history, The arts have been held as white property. This has created conditions for artists to engage in cultural appropriation. While there are examples of artists who intentionally use appropriation as a tool of subversion, this is distinct from cultural appropriation. It's time that we interrogate the process of cultural appropriation using an anti-oppressive stance to replace this practice. Turn away from cultural appropriation patterns, the use or borrowing of elements of a marginalized culture without their permission. Cultural appropriation is harmful and diminishes the aspects of the appropriated culture and continues the oppression of the marginalized group. Instead, engage your learners in cultural appreciation, a reciprocal exchange conducted in a respectful and honorable way with the consent and participation of the cultures involved. In your classroom, lift the knowledge students have of their culture and identities, and connect students' lived experiences to movements, styles, techniques, or expressions of many cultures. Inspire them to analyze text and think critically. Light the spark to inspire students to communicate their thinking and ideas by creating unique products or performances as responses.